Hi guys, let's create more tests in today's lecture. Let's add a test for the Get Bookings IDs endpoint. It will be very similar to the health check test, but we will add more verifications. As you see here, there are some optional URL parameters that we can use, but let's create first test without them. And below here we can see example of the response. So in this test we will verify response 200 and that we got back a list of booking IDs that is not empty. In other words, that our response contains at least one booking ID. So here in the Eclipse I already created new class Get Booking IDs tests. And inside of this class I created test method Get Booking IDs without filter test. Because we will not use filter in this test, we will get all booking IDs, so that's why I named this test Get Booking IDs without filter. So go ahead, create new class, create new test, add test annotation from the test.ng, and let's continue. Now for this test I will not be using BDD syntax. Instead, I'll write my code in more traditional way. Let's start with comments. First step of our test will be to get response. Then, using the response, we will do our verifications. So, we will verify responses 200. And we will verify there is at least one booking ID in response. So let's get our response. So response, let's call it response, equals, and let's import response. So response, we should import it from io restassured.response. So response equals rest assured dot, and we already have a list of suggested commands. So get booking IDs is the get method, so we will select get and we need the URL. Let's switch to our documentation, let's copy the URL and let's paste it here. Just like that. Let's also print our response to console so later we can see it. So let's use this response variable dot print. So this will print our response body. For the verifications we will use test.ng assertions. First, we need to verify that actual response equals to expected 200. So let's go here, assert equals, and let's select integers somewhere here. So actual, expected, and here we will add comment too. So actual, to get actual response code, let's use our response variable. Response dot get status code. And we expect response 200. Now, if response is not gonna be 200, we want some readable error message. So let's just say status code should be 200, but it is not. Next verification. We need to verify that our booking ID list is not empty. So let's get our booking ID list first. So list of our booking IDs. If we go back to the documentation and see our response, so we have list booking ID and integer. So number of booking ID is just an integer. And as we see here, yeah, it returns number. So let's create list. And we will use integer. Let's call it booking IDs. Let's import list from the Java util. So list of integers booking IDs equals, and let's use our response. So response dot. Because our response is JSON, we will use JSON path to get values from the response. JSON path dot, and here since we are getting list, let's select get list command, and we need to put our path. And the path is simple. So let's go back to our example. So basically we just use the name of our variable booking ID. So get list and booking ID here. We will learn more about JSON path in few of the next lectures, but for now, to get all our booking IDs, we just use the name of the variable in the response. And now, when we have the list of our booking IDs, basically all we have to do is to verify that it is not empty. So let's use test-ng assertion one more time. So assert false. So let's do assert false. And basically, if booking IDs dot is empty, because it's not assert true, we do not need to put exclamation point here to do the opposite. So if booking ID is empty, it will return true, but we are looking for false. So that's why we do it like this. So assert false, booking IDs is empty. And if it's actually empty, then the test will fail, and we need to print some comment or error message. So let's just write next. List of booking IDs is empty, but it should not be. And I want to go to source and select here format to make my code a little bit nicer. So here you see full code, all the imports and the test method. So first step, we are getting response using simple get method from booking endpoint. Then we print this response. Then we verify that actual status code is 200. And then we are getting the list of booking IDs, and we are verifying that list is not empty. So now let's run our test and let's verify it's working. So right click on get booking IDs test, run as test-ng, and test passed. And if we go to console and scroll up, we can see the list of booking IDs is printed to console. So there are lots of booking IDs at this time, and as you remember, this is public API, anybody can use it. By default there are just 10 booking IDs, but as you see there are number 12, number 23, number 24. So someone is using this API at this time when I recording this video. That's why we have so many booking IDs in the list. But our test is working, and this is important part. So now I hope you know how to do simple GET request, and you already know how to do it using BDD syntax. And now I showed you basically the same, but using more old school Java coding style. And before we go to the next lecture, let me give you homework. What I want you to do is to create new class and new test method for the getBooking endpoint. Use any booking ID from 1 to 10 in the request URL. Do not use higher than 10. Those bookings are created by other users and will reset every 10 minutes. So even if you get something with number 11, it may be gone in 10 minutes. So to be on the safe side, use booking ID from 1 to 10. So here you can use 1 or 2 or 10, but do not go over 10. For the verifications, verify response 200 and correct information returned from your booking ID. Let's verify correct first name and correct last name. So here, when you scroll down, when you submit your request, you will receive a response like this. And a little hint, so basically when you use JSON path to verify to get first name, all you have to do is just use this first name as the path or last name as the path. So go ahead, try and create your new class and new test method, and I will show you how I do it in the next lecture.